Welcome to the March 2nd Design Review Committee. I'm filling in for Steve Everett as vice chair, so there might be a little, as vice chair, I might stumble a little bit here. But I will let members and staff introduce themselves.
Rebecca Owens, member.
Meredith Crandall, staff.
Benjamin Cheney, staff, as member.
Martha Smirsky, member.
Liz Pritchett, member alternate.
Eric Gilbertson, member.
And I will hand it over to Meredith to review the remote meeting procedures and processes.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Stuff on the screen for everyone who's done this before is mostly for those who might be viewing tonight's meeting via Orca Media, but there'll be tips for everybody in my little spiel. All right, so for anyone viewing tonight's Design Review Committee meeting via Orca Media, you can participate in the discussion via the Zoom platform through either video or telephone access options. For the full video experience, please type this link into your web browser, and I'll be leaving that up for a little while. Alternatively, you can dial in from any telephone using this phone number, and then when prompted, put in this meeting ID and this passcode. If someone is trying to get into the meeting and having problems, please email me at mcrandall@montpelier-vt.org. I will be monitoring my email throughout the meeting. For those attending via Zoom, turning your video on is optional. And actually, if you have your video on and you start having issues with the audio, turning your video off just means that we won't see you. So that'll reduce the amount of data you're trying to stream out. So it should clarify most sound issues, and you'll still be able to see whatever's being shared on from our screens. For everyone attending remotely, please keep your microphone on mute when you're not speaking. This helps reduce background noise. And for those who are on remotely, if you wish to speak, please make sure to raise your hand, and then you can unmute yourself after the chair has called on you. The Zoom chat function should only be used for troubleshooting or logistics questions. Substantive questions or comments about items on the agenda need to be made verbally. In the event the public is unable to access tonight's meeting, and I would find that out via email, the meeting will need to be continued to a time and place certain. I'll now hand the meeting back over to the chair.
Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
This is Martha. I'll move to approve the agenda.
Rebecca, I'll second.
All in favor of the agenda?
Rebecca?
Martha?
Liz.
Eric.
Ben. Great. First item on the agenda is Kellogg Hubbard Library. Talia, come on up and tell us about your project.
I thank you so much for this time and for the ability for us to present this project to you. We are really thrilled to be, I'm Talia Stoneroff. I'm the Associate Director of the School of Architecture and Art, Associate Professor and an architect right here in Montpelier. And I'm leading this design build project that is designed and built by Norwich students, architecture students, and for the Kellogg Hubbard Library. We're thrilled to have the opportunity to work on the Kellogg Hubbard Library Playscape. This process has been really about community involvement. We've gone to the library and met with the committee multiple times. We were involved with the Builders Day with the children. The students have done precedent research. We've had WCAX interviews, and we've really focused on inclusivity. We've met with the Vermont Center of Independent Living with Peter Jonke. We had a wonderful conversation with him, and he gave us a very positive response to the design. In terms of inclusivity, we conducted a public survey. We received over 50 responses, which was pretty incredible. And the library has received quite a bit of social media feedback. We've had meetings with caregivers and children, and we've updated and revised our project based on those comments and based on the comments that we received from this committee when we last presented. So I want to turn this over to the students. I am very lucky to have an incredible group of 14 third and fourth year students, architecture students, and I will let them explain it in more detail.
First off with introductions. My name is Brooke Prima. I'm a fourth year student. I'm Jamie Fenoff. I'm also a fourth year student.
I'm Jesse Harmon. I'm a fourth year student.
I'm Riyam El-Janabi, and I'm a fourth year student.
I'm Elijah Meyer. I'm a third year student.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to meet with us today. Today's presentation introduces the proposed playscape for Kellogg Hubbard Library. Over the past several weeks, the Design Build Studio has worked through a process of individual exploration and collaborative development to bring the project to its current stage. Feedback from the library staff, community survey responses, meetings with the Vermont Center for Independent Living, precedent research, site analysis, and extensive conversations with our engineer has helped shape a playscape that supports movement, imagination, discovery, and inclusivity for a wide range of users. The design is organized around 3 primary zones: the ground zone, the medium zone, and the high zone. Each zone supports different levels of activity and types of play. The ground zone functions as the primary circulation path through the playscape, is the ADA accessible, and includes interactive walls that encourage tactile learning and engagement as children move through the site. The medium zone introduces elevated platforms with smaller tiers that are reached by low ramps. These allow for climbing and exploration while also providing seating and gathering space for adults and caregivers. The high zone serves as the most active area of the playscape, offering elevated elements that support more energetic climbing and play, particularly during after-school hours. And I'll turn it over to Ria.
Hi again. Little Rapids draws inspiration from 2 natural systems found throughout Vermont: granite quarries and flowing rivers. Structural forms within the playscape are designed to resemble carved granite masses that appear to emerge from the landscape, referencing the layered and fragmented geometry of quarried stone. Between these solid forms, circulation moves throughout the site as a continuous meandering path, similar to the way water gradually shapes land. The name Little Rapids reflects the connection between this flowing movement and neurological development. Just as water slowly carves new pathways through stone, play helps form new neural connections in a child's brain. The playscape, therefore, becomes a physical representation of exploration and learning, where movement through the site encourages curiosity, discovery, and growth. And hopefully this is for everybody. That is not only a child, but the public and the parents. And
What is the age of the children that is your audience?
0 to 99.
Okay.
So as the design developed, the relationship between circulation and structural elements was refined. Connecting ramps and elevated volumes support inclusive movement throughout the playscape, while interactive walls and playful openings create moments for engagement and social interaction. Perforated shading panels filter natural light into shifting shadow patterns throughout the day, adding another layer of visual discovery within the space. I'll pass it over to Jesse.
Hello. The materials selection for the playscape focuses on durability, safety, and long-term performance in Vermont's climate. The structure is supported by concrete sonotube pier foundations, which anchor the playscape onto the site while minimizing ground disturbance and allowing for the structure to sit lightly within the landscape. Above these foundations, the playscapes is supported by a layered deck system with pressure-treated structural framing that provides stability while maintaining a sense of lightness in the overall form. All pressure-treated lumber will be covered by local hemlock to minimize the exposure of toxic elements. Vertical elements and climbing volumes are constructed from durable local wood framing with protective natural finishes from a local Vermont company designed for outdoor public use. Interactive walls and interfaces incorporate tactile materials and durable panels intended to withstand frequent use while encouraging engagement and exploration.
Elijah Meyer speaking. Perforated metal panels are used as shade enclosures, elements throughout portions of the structure. These panels filter natural light into shifting shadow patterns, while also providing snow cover and water permeability throughout the landscape. Guardrails, ramp systems, and circulation paths are designed to meet accessibility and safety requirements, supporting inclusive movement for children and caregivers of varying abilities. All materials were selected to balance durability, low maintenance, and a natural aesthetic that integrates with the surrounding landscape. Ultimately, Little Rapids is designed for children to lead the experience of the space. Circulation paths encourage exploration. Openings create peek through moments, and gathering areas support collaboration between children and guardians. By weaving the structure into the site, the playscape shapes movement, frames views, and strengthens the everyday experience of the library, grounds for the surrounding community. Thank you for thank you, and the project team looks forward to discussing the proposal further. And now we would like to return the conversation over to Dan Grover.
Dan's here for the last
Hi. Sorry. Hi, everyone. I just want to reiterate that we're really excited to be working with the Norwich students and to provide this opportunity for an expansion of our programming onto our lawn, and looking forward to this really beautifully designed contemporary feature that juxtaposes nicely with our historic building and creates a welcoming atmosphere that reiterates our message that everyone is welcome at the library. I think that the Norwich students really incorporated the feedback that they heard from this committee when we presented a preliminary design a couple weeks ago, and looking forward to hearing your feedback and answering your questions.
Right. All right.
This is on the School Street side of the building, is that correct?
I'm curious about this. Do you have more information about this picture?
Yeah, so just give me a second. I'll go back there. That one.
Hi, Jesse Harmon again. So this is showing multiple panels just kind of exploded and how where the person is standing in the image, each of those could be swapped out. So there's a docking mechanism that allows for various sorts of designs, whether that's just ornamentation or some sort of grid-based board game of some sort to be implemented into this. So those, as we specified in the our speech, those are the interactive panels.
Okay.
So yeah.
So they'll like change out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we create a serialized form. You can see in the upper level of the design,
Mhm.
there are these modules. And so those modules they're all the same exact design, and then they allow for like sub variability for where those panels are located within the module.
And that's something also that like the library later on could maybe take one out,
Yeah,
put something
exactly.
different in its
Yeah,
place
yep.
because the form is there.
Yep, exactly.
This is the physical 1 foot, 1 inch equals a foot model. This one is really that Jesse was talking about. These could be some of them interactive different variations of it could be mounted here. And
Yeah, in addition to like basing it off of board games and whatnot, spanning multiple cultures that we were referencing, we also were just looking at more kinetic-based interactive panels as well. So this one right here was designed by Nadelia McLeary, who's on call right now. But these are spinning cubes on a axis, and you've seen them before in playgrounds like tic-tac-toe. This is a base off of that, but it's further expandable within symbols that it could be using, or just shapes or imagery. So
this is one of the balls that are spread around the site. And this is just, per se, like an image perforated so that it plays with the light and shadow. Some classes are, they do science or
light studies, that's about.
yeah.
And I believe this image is an image of fractured granite. So it's a uniquely zoomed in image. So all of the interactive pieces are going to draw from Vermont history in one way or another.
My comments are slightly out of the purview of this committee, but I feel comforted by the fact that you guys have did such a good job with Union Elementary School and understand sort of like playground rules. And as I look at this, from my time doing it, I'm worried about some entrapment issues and some sightline issues and some durability issues. But that's not necessarily the purview of this committee, but those are things that I see when I look at this. One thing I am concerned about is the perforated shade structure, and as it's rendered, I'm not convinced that that's going to stand up and that that's not going to get bent real fast. So.
Yeah. So we've gone through the engineering process on that, and the overall like proxy of that shape can stay the same, but the frame and the feet themselves are going to be beefed up. But it can exist as that form.
And we're working consecutive.
You gotta be by a microphone or the minutes aren't gonna pick it up.
We are working with our engineer already on that system, and it's the idea is staying the same, but it is shifting. Of course,
Structurally.
this is shown more conceptually.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you.
So Ben, your thought was the actual metal perforated panels themselves might get grabbed on and pulled down and bent.
If they were to be built as they're rendered
Yeah.
here, they would absolutely.
Okay, nope, I'm just clarifying.
Yep.
But what's the key will be if the committee is good enough with the concept to not need it to come back when they have the final
Yep.
engineered design to make sure it does stay stable.
Yep.
Because yeah, the durability issue.
And is the Union Elementary School also Hemlock? I mean, conceptually, I think it's a great project, minus my small concerns. I mean, I don't know who adjudicates these things, but as far as that tapering trapezoidal thing on the left, which is where, oh, that is netting. That's not, yeah, that's, okay, that's netting, not, I couldn't quite tell how that was rendered, whether that was a more rigid structure.
So yeah, you weren't here at the last meeting, right, Ben?
Right, so I missed that.
I wasn't either.
Okay, so this bit is proposed to be netting. You just don't have the final style of the netting yet, but similar to what was at Union Elementary for the netting for the nest, correct? And then same with the like pathways from between these three spots. Is that going to still be netting too?
We're finalizing the material, but
Okay.
everything there will either be wood or netting.
Okay.
It will be designed to the necessary code requirements with guardrail heights.
Yep.
And
So guardrails added.
absolutely.
Yep.
Yes.
And then like this space would be either netting or just a wood ramp.
or a wood. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then this here, the plan is for that to be netting this.
the plan is for that to be netting.
Okay.
What is the purpose of the netting?
Well, that piece was supposed to be another climbing feature. The children were really excited about netting. I think given the budget, that will likely be the first thing that might have to be cut. But we have worked with a specific playground, and we consider this not a playground. We consider it more of, a playscape, more of an abstracted. There are no swings or slides, or it just, there isn't the budget or the time for that design. But the netting, if we are able to move forward with it, will be designed specifically by a company that specifies in playground and netting. So we are familiar with two companies that we've worked with, and another that worked at Union Elementary School.
So if the netting aspect doesn't work, are you thinking more of like just a railing there with some sort of decoration on it to make it
There would
more
be
visually?
a different entry to
Yeah.
to those platforms. Yes.
And is the netting supposed to allow climbing on it? Is that the idea?
As rendered, yes, that would allow climbing, but we're deciding whether that specific feature is feasible at this point.
And I'm certain you have an answer to this question. And again, it's also outside of our purview. And I'm curious, the elevation of the platform that you have modeled there from, like how high is that off the ground without any railing, without any?
So there are railings. There will either be a ramp coming off of it, so children can exit, or this will be infilled. So either it's a pathway or it's infilled with one of these.
I see.
And
So you're not really able to jump/fall off the.
no, definitely not.
Yep.
But if you put all the panels in the drawing, we wouldn't have been able to see the structure of it. That's okay. That's one reason those aren't there. Okay. So just so for Eric and Liz, what they're talking about is these big open spaces won't be big open when it's fully put together. There'll be panel inserts potentially kind of like this, or what's shown in the breakdown that showed how they're put on the pedestals in the big open spaces, or there'll be a railing, or it's one of the ones that has the ramp between them. And even those ramps between, there will be guardrails between them. They're just working out the exact heights and details on those with the code requirements.
Okay, I think I understand. No, I think I do. I have that question too about how high. Well, I guess maybe with the railings, maybe it doesn't matter. The ramps are above the ground. I guess with railings, then that's not an issue. Yeah. So that's fine. Thank you.
And you're hoping to construct this spring, I assume? And you guys are going to be the ones doing it?
Few more.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
About 4 times the amount.
Right. That's great.
That's awesome.
Well,
I just have one quick question too, one more. So the wood is being treated with a natural coating, and then it'll age to a gray, do you think, or?
She can't speak. You have to go up to the microphone.
We are currently looking at using, by the way, this is Elijah speaking. We are looking at using Vermont natural coatings. They have donated
Right.
before to adding a finish. The finish that we're adding allows grain to happen in the wood while staying water resistant. So in terms of wearing on the actual wood itself, it won't wear, but it will gray.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Which is the same finish at, yeah, and all the concerns that everybody likes to say about splinters and roughs on wood, I'm sure you've gone over, and yep. Yep.
I think those concerns are reasonable. We will be addressing it as best it can. I don't think there's any way to completely avoid splinters, even with planed wood, sanded wood. So it will be treated similar to the nest, which has held up. It was installed and it was built in 2018. It's held up pretty incredibly well.
Yep.
And in this project, there's no actual covered space. Everything allows for water to drain through it. So the only areas I've seen that have had any issues, but no structural issues at the nest, are where water has come in and not been able to just drain. So we're addressing some of the lessons that we've learned through that project here as well.
And then the 5-year maintenance plan is on the Kellogg Hubbard Library.
It is, but we are trying very hard to make maintenance a priority and to, for instance, with Vermont Natural Coatings, which we have great success with in the past, there hopefully will be very little maintenance. And again, from the nest, we've learned some lessons that we're specifically trying to respond to so that they have as little maintenance as possible.
Yep.
I'm familiar with the Vermont Natural Coatings, but I don't know anything how they withstand UV exposure.
I can't give you technical data on that right now, but their products you can specify products that are rated for the exterior, and they deal with those sort of considerations.
A few years ago, I looked at some clear-coated decks that deteriorated pretty quickly under UV light. That's just a maintenance concern.
Sure. We are using cedar for all of our wood decking, so that's traditionally, an excellent one of the better woods you can use for decking. If you're not using something that is more of a tropical wood, which of course is the best, but not great for sustainability. So
I'm happy to hear that.
that's
I
the
heard
plan.
hemlock at first. I didn't hear the cedar.
We are using hemlock for the structure.
Yep.
And then the horizontal decking will be cedar.
Yeah, I like that much better.
So did our engineer.
Yeah. Any other comments? Do I hear a motion to approve?
You gotta
Oh.
go through the.
Oh, right. I get to go through all the recommendations
Yeah,
first.
there's a bunch that don't apply, so. Yeah, there should be a lot of NAs, so just deal with the ones that don't have the NA, and then I think I added. It's the other one that gets funky, so.
All right, for historic structures, the removal,
Just read the top one, number one, because
number 1, meaning A, or
that one,
Oh.
what applies to everything, we're dealing with a property
Exterior-
that's a historic structure.
right.
on it, but we're not really hitting
All
any
those
of those things.
Right. Exterior design and materials of new construction or alterations of existing buildings shall be consistent and compatible with characteristics of the existing building or other properties in the district. Acceptable. Existing buildings shall be
Circle
Oh,
it as you
yeah.
go, it'll be quicker.
Okay. acceptable. Existing buildings shall be recognized as a physical record of their time and place in use. Any new development shall be differentiated from the old, but shall be respectful or shall respect and be compatible with the massing, size, scale, architectural features, detailing, and overall character of the primary historic building and nearby historic properties. acceptable. We're skipping all those because they're not applicable. Alterations to buildings called for by public safety, accessibility, and fire codes shall be designed to maintain the character of and the construction materials and features to the maximum extent feasible.
So this isn't an alteration of a structure, but because there are code compliance issues, they're kind of,
Yeah.
you have minimal input on code compliance. So just try to left that in there for consideration.
Yep. For parcels with both river and
Nope. Nope, that's not applicable
okay, well, you didn't.
because this doesn't have river. Did I not?
Well, it has street frontage.
Wait, but it doesn't have both.
Okay.
Did I? Now I'm confused.
I didn't have a staff.
Nope, you're on the wrong one.
God, who is this guy?
You grabbed the Granite Street one, dude. Got the right one. It's underneath there. Sorry. Whoops.
Right. Who-
Yeah,
So we're already, these
Yeah.
are still acceptable.
yeah. And these. Okay, I have a fresh one.
That makes more sense. There's a whole lot of staff doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
So
we're,
then there's really just this.
right. Landscape screening, site furnishings, project with the design review overlay district subject to the landscaping requirements in section 3203 shall consider the following. Site furnishings including fencing, seating, and other types of site furniture visible from street or side yards. Existing historic and contributing resources such as street trees, fences, gates, walls, steps, gazebos, walkways, front and side yard patterns shall be retained and restored when impacted by the alteration of a building. Seems acceptable.
And then
Right.
jump to 22.
22. Accessory buildings and structures. New accessory buildings or structures shall be located within either the side yard or rear yard and shall not visually disrupt the streetscape or affect the integrity of the existing building or proposed new building. Also acceptable. Do I have a motion to accept this project?
This is Martha. I'll make a motion to accept the project.
This is Liz. I'll second it.
Great. Well, let's vote.
All in favor, right?
All in
Yeah.
favor, yeah.
Rebecca?
This is Martha. I say yes.
Eric,
Liz, yes.
And Ben says yes. So,
All right. So I don't know, Talia, if so you want to sign on the back, Ben,
yeah, I do.
and then somebody can sign as for the applicant on the back.
Dan, can I sign for you?
Well, technically,
We're
you-
the applicant.
you're the applicant.
We're the owner. It's all on you, Talia.
Since you're here, normally we only really require signatures when there's been a recommendation that becomes a condition of the permit. But when people are here, it's nice to get the sign off. So yeah, we'll try and move forward in the next couple of days on the zoning permit and the river hazard permit. I need to do an administrative site plan report that'll go in how this all meets the other zoning requirements, not just the design review regulations. And exciting stuff.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. It'll be fun to watch it come alive. Yeah, we didn't get really to see that one.
Okay, you're welcome. Planning department doesn't really have a good place to keep that, so you should definitely take those back with you, even if you don't really need them. We're all kind of shoved into a very little space right now, so we don't have a cool place to display stuff.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great night. Is Dan still on? Dan is still on.
Hello, everybody.
All right.
Dan, can you get closer to your microphone? If not, we can turn up the speakers.
I can get closer to my microphone by making my computer closer to me.
All
Does
right, yep,
that
we're
sound
gonna
better?
give me a minute. I'm gonna turn up the speakers because they're very
Okay.
quiet.
How's
All
that?
right.
Well, that's better.
Yeah, better.
Great. Thanks for making the Zoom option, thanks for making Zoom an option. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. All right, while you're doing your thing, I'm gonna scroll to the project in the packet, Dan. But you want him to give a little overview while I'm getting there?
Yep. For 1 Granite Street, we have Dan Clare. I'm excited to hear about your project, Dan.
Great. Thank you. So a couple of years ago, we submitted a permit application and have the permit for the renovation to this back building. This is the small building on our property at 1 Granite Street, or 3 Granite Street, as the case may be. This is what was historically the small office building right by the river behind the larger of the buildings. So there's an active permit for this building to be renovated into but we're just kind of updating the permit application to reflect this new plan. I don't know if you're seeing that or not from where you are, but kind of updating the permit to reflect this new plan for simply just parking and storage.
This is the building that was once Peter's office.
That's correct.
Yeah. And
So because the conversion to a dwelling unit and parking and storage didn't happen, the dwelling unit creation hasn't happened, what Dan's done here is he's showing the existing, which is the same existing that was shown when they got the original permit. And then the proposed. So the existing that has like the 2 little bathrooms and the difference in siding. So you have some part that's shingled and some part that is the horizontal siding and the window and door arrangement. That's all the existing right now. And I think it's pretty close to the description in the State Historic Register that I think I put in your packets. And then the proposed with changing so that there's just 1 human door on the end facing the street, facing Granite Street, and then the 2 vehicle doors is the proposed, and that gets rid of all of the shingles and all of the windows. And so it's because previously part of this was going to be a dwelling unit, you were going to be retaining more windows and openings in the building. But I think, I'm trying to remember, Dan, I think the prior proposal did include getting rid of all the shingles because that siding just wasn't going to be able to be retained if you were going to up the insulation and keep the available space inside. You had to redo the siding, if I remember correctly. Is that right?
Well, that was part of it, Meredith, and also they're just old. They've never been well cared for. It's just it's time to retire them and kind of update the siding in general.
Can you orient me to see where these garage doors are in terms of the building and how it sits on the street?
So I don't think it's in there. Let me go to a Google Maps. Dan, you can talk, but I'm also going to pull it up on Google Maps.
I couldn't hear what that question was. What was that?
Sorry, need to face the microphone.
Dan, I'm just trying to orient where the garage doors are in terms of the street.
Sure. The garage doors face the 3-story building. There's an alley in between the building we're looking at now and the 3-story building. So the garage doors are kind of oriented towards the big building or if you will, on the opposite side of the river. The building parallels the river, and the overhead doors kind of face away from the river.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
So here's a shot on Google Earth from July of last year.
Mhm.
So there's an existing vehicle door way down here on the end.
Mhm.
So there's this alley here that also loops around the back side of the big clothespin building.
Mhm.
So there's a vehicle door there, and then a couple of windows,
Mhm.
person door here to get into the office space. And then here's a door here on the end to get into a different office space. And so this area here will be converted to those two, one kind of smaller and one double big vehicle doors. And then these will be infilled. And then,
The small
Same.
human door on the side of Granite Street would still be there.
yes, this will be here, but I think updated to a different.
It is updated, and I realized I failed to provide you with the specs on that door. But all the other new doors that have been installed on this property over the years are simply a flat slab door. That's old.
That's an
and
old,
original.
yeah.
But it is a flat slab door. It just hasn't been updated. That one actually does. I guess I misspoke. That one has some glass in it, but it's that type of door. But I'd like to have it without the glass because it's just a storage area within.
Mhm. Okay.
Also right next to the road. Don't really want the plows kicking stuff into the glass.
Mm.
Will it maintain that portico roof, or is that going away also?
No, at this point, we would eliminate the portico roof. It actually inhibits us from maneuvering some larger vehicles back into that alley that I'd like to eliminate. And because that door will hardly ever be used, there's just no need to, expose ourselves to the expense of rebuilding it.
Dan, what is the age of this building?
That's a good question. I don't really for sure know, but I've certainly kind of poked around it, enough to, kind of have a general sense of the type of construction. And I'm going to guess it's from the 50s, something to that effect.
Okay.
But I don't have any, there's nothing that's not kind of based on any document that was presented to me. That's just kind of my hunch and best guess based on my understanding of buildings.
Well, that helps a lot. Thank you.
So just as an FYI, the on the state historic register, so I included part of that file in the packet. This is building number H. And so Dan, your estimate based on what you've looked at seems to match up really well with the conversion time. They don't have a potential built by date, but they say that it was converted into offices around 1955.
Yeah, none of the historic photos that I've poured over that show the big building have this back building within them. So yeah, my understanding is limited.
And I'm fairly certain I know the answer to this question, but I would be remiss if I didn't ask that the siding is going to be a wood clapboard to match the rest of the building that you've been doing wood clapboards on.
Yeah, I'm proposing to simply match the proposed siding on this building when we kind of reclad it to be the same clapboard material that we're using on the big building.
Yep, that's what I figured.
Good.
I have just one question. So what does the state register, state register form mention what the original use of the building was before it was converted? Was it like a storage shed or equipment shed or something?
Yeah, it says originally a small warehouse before it was
Okay.
converted into offices around 1955.
Okay, thank you.
Well, maybe I'll go through the right criteria this time.
I gave you
Gave me
fresh.
a new one.
Yep, I always have one set for Steve and one set for myself.
Right,
So there's always a duplicate set.
right. All right, Dan, here we go. You ready?
Ready, hit me.
Exterior design and materials for new construction or alterations or existing buildings shall be consistent and compatible with other characteristics of the existing building or other properties in the district. The removal of historic materials or alteration or features and spaces that characterize a historic property shall be avoided. Character defining features, finishes, and construction techniques, for example, craftsmanship that characterize a historical building, shall be preserved. Deteriorated character defining features shall be repaired rather than replaced. Where the severity of deterioration requires the replacement of a character defining feature, the new feature shall be replaced in kind. Any treatment that causes damage to historic materials, including but not limited to chemical or physical treatments, such as sandblasting, shall not be approved. I think what you're asking to do here is acceptable. Existing buildings shall be recognized as physical record of their time and place and use. Any new development shall be differentiated from the old, but shall respect and be compatible with the massing, sizing, scale, architectural features, detailing, and overall character of the primary historic building and nearby historical properties. Acceptable. Now we're going to use number 7, everybody. For parcels with both river and street frontage, development shall be oriented so that both river and street facades are primary. Materials on the river side of a structure shall be of equal character and quality as those on the street side. Both facades should incorporate fenestration, detailing, and other building components that are dimensionally proportional and are pedestrian friendly. Well done on your siding, Dan. Acceptable. Proportion, compatibility of relationship between width and height of facades, as well as relationship of width and height of windows and doors is acceptable. Rhythm, the visual patterns established by the alterations of solid walls and openings, windows and doors, in the facade of buildings shall create a rhythm. Patterns of solids and openings shall be preserved to the extent feasible. Acceptable. Architectural features including but not limited to cornices, windows, shutters, fan lights, entablature, trim, and other forms of molding or character-defining detailing prevailing in the existing building shall be considered in the alteration of a building. For historic structures, architectural features on addition.
Oh, you can ignore that. I
I'm-
missed the addition part. It's all about additions.
All right, well, then we're going to say this is acceptable with no additions. Outdoor lighting fixtures. The structural design of outdoor lighting fixtures. We didn't actually look at
Oh,
that.
we didn't talk about those. Whoops.
I'm proposing to put one, and apologies that it doesn't show on our rendering, but I'm proposing to put one, blanking on the word, but one outdoor fixture. I sent in the spec to it.
Yep.
One light fixture centered over the 2 overhead doors.
So like one in around this area,
So one
one
center,
here.
one there, and then one exactly.
Okay, so 2 total.
2 total. Yeah.
One over each of the vehicle doors, and
Correct.
those are. I'm just gonna scroll. To where there's a
And are
decent
those-
image. Just little wall mounted. They don't stick out very far. Black, low profile.
Yeah, we've got a couple of these elsewhere on the building already.
And they're motion activated?
That's a decent question. No, I didn't specify it in the application, but the way the rest of them work is they're not motion activated, but they're photosensitive, so they come on when the sun goes down.
I see. Yep. It's a different kind of motion.
Do they have timers, Dan? Turn off when you guys aren't there, or do they just stay on for security purposes?
They stay on for security purposes throughout the dark hours. And
Okay.
and in that alley, actually, the tenants on the second and third floor enter into the building, through that alley. So there was already some light over there, but I would not have. I think this will actually help the upstairs tenants kind of have that space kind of even more lit up, which I think would be a welcome. I think that would be welcome for their use.
Yeah, and some of those are art studios where it's people who come and go at odd hours, right?
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. Nope, that's great. No, that's just one of my like outdoor lighting for zoning purposes. It's supposed to shut off when the business closes, but when you've got the art studios that are pretty much they're private and available and people coming and going at all hours, then I think I can flag that. So awesome. Thank you.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So back to outdoor lighting fixtures, the structural design of outdoor lighting fixtures shall be compatible with the architectural design and function of the building and compatible with the neighborhood. I think we've determined that's acceptable. Windows and doors on historic structures. Character defining window and door patterns, placement, sizes, proportions, and original features such as trim, sash, and moldings shall be preserved to the extent possible. When preservation is not possible, such character defining windows and doors must be rehabilitated or replaced in kind. Windows and doors that are not character defining may be replaced, but such replacements must be compatible with the historic building style, materials, and architectural features. We didn't actually touch on the design, but I'm not so certain a garage door requires a whole lot of thought.
Well, that and the description in the historic register doesn't say anything really about doors, I don't think. I'm just going to double check for you since I've got this open and can scroll. Yeah, no, there's no 1-story, 5 bays with shed is what they describe it, because at that point, so shed roof with metal roofing, that talks about the siding, door hood with brackets, because it was a different kind of overhead door before. Oh no, they called it a door hood there on the end over the end person door. It just says, originally a small warehouse before converted into offices. So there is nothing about details about the types of windows or the types of doors on the buildings. Those aren't called out as specific architectural features to care about, whereas you have other aspects like on the main building where they're talking about it having, the tower, stuff about the stone foundation, where the loading dock is. They go into a bunch more detail about the main clothespin factory building. And other times they've had discussions about specific buildings with, special kinds of gable roofs or other things. But this one, they're not talking about the number of windows and doors or what type they are.
Excuse me, I need to leave. You got a quorum, right?
Yes. Yep, we do, Eric.
I apologize. I just need to do something at 6:30. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
Bye.
And I'm going to believe that the rendering here that shows these doors without windows is what's happening, and that this door that's circled on this pamphlet that shows a door with windows is just an option for that particular door, but you're not putting windows in.
100% correct, Ben. Thanks for calling that out for what that is. You're correct. The brochure from the manufacturer's brochure just shows that particular option, but we are not choosing that option. We'll just have solid doors as the rendering represents.
Yep, that's what I figured.
So Liz, I will pull that up. So Dan sent the specification sheets for the garage door. So it's going to be this description of this door, but without the windows shown here.
And it's just, and for all practical purposes, it's just a really simple flat panel.
What is the, is it, do we have a color?
We do not have a color yet. I mean, the siding is going to be gray and the trim is going to be, the siding and the trim the siding and the trim will be the same as the main building. I actually thought we don't have a color specified yet, and I didn't think we talked about colors during this meeting. So I apologize if I was wrong in that, but all the rest of the doors, there's green and then there's kind of black that have been kind of, so it'll be, is color part of this meeting?
They don't, the design review committee no longer really has like control over color. But when you're talking about historic structures, sometimes it comes into play when you're talking about compatibility a little bit. But yeah, right now you're talking, current doors are dark. And they can always mention a preference. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a condition of approval.
Gotcha. So just for reference, the windows that we're replacing that we got, permit approval for some years ago, those are all black. They're not green the way that these windows show. The doors are still green. There's a number of doors around the building that are still green. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it would make sense to have the overhead doors either be green or the black to resemble the window detail.
Sorry. Is it possible to do gray?
The same color as the siding?
Yeah.
Oh, would that look like it doesn't have? I'm just going to zip around to the alley space. Oop, too far. So right now, because this one isn't going to change size much, is it, Dan?
Yeah, not much. You're right. I don't know the size of that. I think it does get, maybe that's a 10-foot wide if I had to guess, and we're talking about a 12-foot wide. So
for this one,
a little
yeah,
bit wider probably. Yeah.
So just throwing that up there so you have a sense of.
It's hard to see on the screen, but what color is that one now?
That's that same like evergreen color. Yeah, that's that kind of, it's that same green color that some of the other doors are currently painted.
I just didn't know if it was gray, if it would look more like it's just flat with no openings back there.
And it would blend more. That was my thought.
I like the contrast to the green myself and the historic green door on the front, but if color's out of our purview, I'll just put my preference out there for green.
Well, I appreciate that. Actually, our entry door to the office that's just to the left of where the screen is showing right now. I remember the last time or one other time I came before this committee, somebody had a recommendation for that, and it altered the course of what we did there. So we got a committee of people with good taste. So I appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, I like the green too, but black would probably be okay as well, in my opinion. So.
All right, well then I'm just going to say acceptable, and you're going to do something great, Dan.
Challenge accepted.
All right. I think we're doing all right. No.
Nope.
No, we're done.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion to accept this project? What is my word I'm supposed to say?
Well, yeah, Steve is always like all in favor.
All in favor.
You could do a motion or you can be all in favor.
Yeah.
Either one.
Motion to accept the project. This is Martha.
Right.
Rebecca, I'll second.
All right. So, all in favor?
Martha?
Rebecca?
Ben? All right.
All right.
Great. Well,
thank you, everybody.
Hold on, Dan. I have a very important question for you before you leave.
Okay.
Was that clothespin staged, or did you actually find it in the floor on that video for WCAX?
No, completely unstaged.
Completely unstaged. That was
completely unstaged. No,
really?
That building is still dripping in clothespins. I don't know where they just come out of literally the woodwork. I don't know where they're coming from at this point.
That's
but no,
awesome.
Completely unstaged.
All right. Well, because if it was staged, you did a very good job acting that one out.
Agreed.
Well done.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Dan.
That
I've been
was
looking
an
for-
authentic reaction.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you, Dan.
All right, thank you for your help.
I will try and get this one out tomorrow. I'm only in the office for a little bit, and for part of that, I am actually tabling at town meeting at City Hall. So
Of
it
course.
might be Wednesday.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye-bye.
I,
All right. We got to review some minutes probably.
Yes. From the 17th. Wait,
Motion to review
Oh.
minutes? Is that it?
Sure, you can
or
make a
move to
motion.
accept.
Move to accept? We just go straight into accepting?
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't have, yeah, I mean, you don't have to move to go on to the next item on the agenda. But if you've reviewed them and are good.
I did. I was one of the 3 people there.
Wasn't there.
I wasn't either.
As long as one person was at the meeting and can attest to the subject matter and everybody else reviews for copy edits, it's fine.
Well, Rebecca, what do you think?
I think it's accurate, yeah.
Sounds
There's
great.
only one and was a preliminary review of those folks.
Yeah.
Put
So
a
you-
motion to accept?
Sure.
Motion to accept the minutes as they are? Rebecca?
Ben,
You're seconding?
I'll second, sure.
Okay.
I wasn't there, but if you say I can vote,
Yeah.
I'll say yes.
For copy edit purposes. And I'll say yes for copy edit purposes also.
So is it all in favor?
Yes, it's it.
Take your
Yeah,
name.
you're voting.
Okay, Rebecca?
Ben,
So you gonna vote or are you gonna?
I wasn't, I read the minutes, but but I wasn't there, so I'll just abstain.
Okay, we've got 3, so we're good. We've got 3
Okay.
saying that.
Yeah.
all right. Next big effort, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
This is Martha. I move to adjourn.
Rebecca will second?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Martha?
Rebecca?
Liz?
Awesome. Okay.